There's a decision you made today, maybe this morning, choosing your words before hitting send on that message. Maybe years ago when you chose this career, this partner, this version of yourself that you show to the world. You think you chose freely. And what if I told you that wasn't quite the case? What if there's something buried inside you since childhood, so old and so well hidden that you've never actually seen it at work, even though it's working right now? An Austrian psychiatrist identified it over a century ago. He worked alongside Freud before breaking away from him precisely because he understood something Freud refused to see. His name was Alfred Adler, and what he discovered might just change the way you see yourself, starting today. Stay with me until the end, because the most unsettling part of this theory isn't what you're about to learn about Adler. It's what you're about to understand about yourself. Adler spent his life observing something simple, almost mundane, but which hid an abyss beneath it. Every human being is born small, literally small, in a world of giants. A newborn depends entirely on others just to survive. And that dependence, that original smallness, leaves a mark. Adler called it the inferiority feeling, not a flaw, not a disorder. A universal condition. Everyone is born with this feeling because everyone is born weak in the face of an immense world. But here's where it gets interesting. This feeling never fully disappears. It transforms. It disguises itself, seeps into every corner of your adult life without you ever noticing. According to Adler, the entirety of your behavior, your ambitions, your fears, your relationships, is a constant attempt to compensate for this original feeling of being small, insufficient, not enough. Think about that for a second. That promotion you want so badly. Maybe it's not really about the money. It's that body you're trying to sculpt at the gym. Maybe it's not just about health. It's that relationship where you keep doing more just to be loved. Maybe that's not love at all, but fear. Adler called this the will to power, a need to compensate for that initial smallness by becoming stronger, more visible, more recognized. And this need doesn't knock on your door asking for permission. It settles in quietly, very early on, and then goes on directing decisions you believe are entirely your own. Adler identified two possible paths in response to this inferiority feeling. The first is healthy compensation. You feel the lack, and you use it as fuel to grow, to learn, to contribute to something bigger than yourself. The second path is overcompensation. And this is where things get complicated. Overcompensation is when this inferiority feeling becomes so heavy, so poorly processed, that it turns into an endless pursuit of superiority. You stop trying to grow, and instead you try to crush that void inside you by dominating, controlling, always needing to be right, always needing to be the center of attention. Adler called this the superiority complex, and he pointed out something fascinating. This complex is never the opposite of the inferiority complex. It's its direct consequence. The more a person displays superiority, the more likely it is that deep down, they're hiding an inferiority feeling they refuse to face. Do you know someone like that? Someone who always needs to have the last word, who puts others down just to feel a little bigger. Adler would say that person is fighting a battle they've never named. And the unsettling part is that you're probably doing the same thing, in a quieter, more socially acceptable version, without ever having identified it as such. Here's an example. Someone shares a win, a promotion, a trip, a project going well. And without really meaning to, some small voice inside you minimizes what they just said. Or you feel an immediate need to respond with your own achievement as if to rebalance something. It's not malice. It's your inferiority feeling waking up for a split second, and your decision to speak, to compare, comes directly from there. Adler also believed this feeling takes on a specific shape depending on where you stood in your family as a child. The oldest child often develops a deep need for control, a fear of losing their position. The younger sibling often develops a competitive drive, a need to prove they can succeed too. And the youngest can develop either excessive confidence or a heightened inferiority feeling from constant comparison. You probably never consciously chose the way you function within a group, at work, in a relationship. And yet that way traces back to dynamics you lived through before you could even speak. Let's bring this back to something concrete, something you've probably experienced this week. Why do you check your phone right after posting something on social media? Why does the number of likes affect your mood more than you'd like to admit? According to Adler, this isn't about shallow vanity. It's your inferiority feeling searching in real time for outside proof that you matter. That you're not that small, insufficient thing you've feared being since childhood. Every notification becomes a small vote of confidence against that inner void. And that's exactly why that void never fully fills up. Because the solution you're looking for outside can never repair a wound that lives inside. And here's the most important part of everything I'm telling you today. Adler didn't stop at the diagnosis. He also offered a way out. He called it social interest, the ability to redirect that energy, that need to compensate, not toward yourself, but toward a real contribution to the lives of others. Adler believed the true antidote to the inferiority feeling wasn't becoming stronger than others, but becoming useful among others. That shift from I must be superior to I can contribute changes everything. It turns an endless, exhausting pursuit into a path that has direction, and unlike superiority, one that never needs comparison to exist. Think about the last time you felt truly good, deeply good, not just flattered or validated. Chances are that moment had nothing to do with winning against someone else. Chances are it came from helping, from creating, from feeling connected to something bigger than your own ego. Adler would say that in that exact moment, your inferiority feeling didn't disappear. It simply found a healthy direction. So what does this mean for you moving forward? It means the next time you feel that pressing need to prove something, to win an argument, to dominate a situation, you can pause for a second and ask yourself a simple question. What am I trying to compensate for right now? This isn't a question meant to judge you. It's a question meant to free you. Because as long as this mechanism stays invisible, it keeps directing your choices from the shadows. But the moment you see it, the moment you name it, it loses a huge part of its power over you. Adler wrote that it's never the experience itself that determines who you become, but the meaning you give it. You were born small, like everyone else. You felt that lack, like everyone else. But what you do with it today belongs to you alone. The inferiority feeling isn't your enemy. It's the raw material you can use, if you choose to face it, to build something with real meaning, instead of endlessly chasing a superiority that will never satisfy you. The next time you make a decision, even the smallest one, ask yourself, what's really speaking inside you in that moment? Your true worth, or that old feeling you've carried all along, and that you can finally, starting today, begin to see differently.